Hey, what's up guys? It's Rose. Welcome back. Second video, Dirt Poor Tactics. Today I'm going to cover my basic bailout bag. I'm not going to be covering anything about firearms or my self-defense protocol or anything like that in this video. I'm just going to be going over some of the stuff that I bring every time I go out to the woods, whether it's recreation, camping, fishing, hiking, anything like that. Anytime I'm out in the wilderness where I'm beyond walking distance being 3, maybe 4 miles of a city, things that I bring out. This is Whiskey, by the way. This is my cat. She's going to be making guest appearances throughout the video, so hope you get used to her. Say hi, Whiskey. So just some basic stuff that I bring. I didn't pack this bag especially for today or for this video. This is just stuff that I bring with me every time I go out, and hopefully there's a point of reference you guys can get from this, or some insight you guys will get as to the way that I pack for the Pacific Northwest. I can tell you 100% that the stuff that I bring in this pack I use almost every time I go out, if not every time. There are some things that I'm missing from this that I keep in my truck, basic hand tools, things like that. Also, bug spray I do not have in here. I would say that permethrin would be a really good bug spray. I've tried several of them. Mosquitoes are really bad right now, especially in the summertime in the Pacific Northwest. So I would say definitely bring things like that with you. However, I'm just going to be talking about the things that I bring in my kit right now in this bag. So first of all, doesn't fit in the bag, but it counts. Basic sleeping bag. This one's rated for like maybe 20 degrees or 35 degrees. It's nothing crazy. I bought this from Goodwill for about $5. I would like to invest in a better one. However, this is Dirt Poor Tactics, not bourgeois tactics. So I'll just be referring to the things that I own and the things that have worked for me. So I would say with this kit, this sleeping bag, it's very thin, but it does the job. It keeps wind off of me and it keeps rain off of me as long as I have a cover over me, and it keeps the moisture out. I would say with this, I usually still wear my 2 layers. So 2 layers of denim, 2 socks, good pair of boots, 2 shirts, and a jacket over me, and a good piece of headgear, like whether it's a beanie or whatever. I never leave my house without this when I'm going to the woods. So a sleeping bag. Can't fit it in the kit, but always with me. Next we'll be going into the actual bag. I'm going to try to be as quick with this as possible so that we can make this not a 45-minute video. So we'll just go ahead and get to it. First of all, given what I usually do when I go out to the woods, shooting targets. These are NRA shooting targets. Nothing crazy. Usually carry some Gorilla tape in the truck. So having some basic targets so that you're not just shooting into a berm or into a wall, so you have a good idea of what you're hitting. Very important, especially if you're trying to practice marksmanship fundamentals and things like that. Next one, socks. I have multiple layers of socks that I always bring with me. Doesn't seem like something that's really important to a lot of people who are new into outdoorsing or anything like that. I will tell you that having cold feet, having wet feet, things like that are not fucking cool. Another thing that's not cool, getting frostbite and getting one of your appendages cut off. So always bring socks. Multiple layers. I know it sounds lame. Bring them. I at least bring 3 or 4 layers of socks, because you can bring out 2 layers, then you can wash the next pair the next day, have them drying by your fire, and have a brand new pair of socks. So always bring at least 3 layers of socks. You'll wear 2 one day, you wear the next 2 one day, or maybe you fall into the drink the next day, then you get another pair dried out. So socks. Let's see what I got. Probably gonna be more socks in here as well. We got, okay, so some basic gloves. These are nothing crazy. I usually carry a pair of mechanics gloves as well. These are just some rubber slash, these are probably like just synthetic gloves. They have a couple layers on them. They're not winterproof or anything like that. These are more for like if I'm doing some automotive repair or something like that where I'm worried about getting some grip. They have some nice rubber pads on them. They're Head brand if that matters to any of you guys, but I would say just some good gloves that have multi-layer protection, and a good purchase. These are not, again, winter gloves by any means. These are just a pair of gloves that have some nice grip to them. I have a pair of actual winter gloves in here. Aha. Another second layer of gloves. These are more padded. The brand on these are can't find them, but they're more padded, more what you would think of as winter gloves. Again, maneuvering your hands and stuff like that. Fine motor skills really deteriorate as you get into the colder weather and into the rain and stuff like that. I've learned that the hard way, so I usually carry multiple pairs. Sometimes when it gets to the temperature, it is right around now in the mountains where I go, it's about 16 to 20 degrees every day. So what I'm usually doing is I'm bringing those pair of gloves and mechanics gloves, or if it gets really cold, I'm bringing these guys. So multiple layers of gloves, and for the same reasons that we bring multiple pairs of socks. We don't know what's going to happen out there. We could get wet, they could get damaged or something like that. So having a backup for a lot of your things is a really good measure. You'll notice that in multiple layers of my kit. Head covering. So does it look ugly? Does it look dorky? Yes, absolutely. Do I look like an absolute goofball? Oh, 100%. However, is my noggin warm? Dude, you better believe it. You lose a lot of heat from your head, especially when you get out to colder temperatures, especially when water starts hitting your head and stuff like that. Carrying some head protection, a couple beanies, things like that, very, very helpful. Again, something I use all the time. Another pair of socks. Emergency beans rations. These are just some Van Camp's pork and beans. Nothing crazy. This won't win me any Michelin stars, but it's got some good protein and keeps my stomach full. Things like this, they're a little bit heavy compared to dry rations and freeze-dried stuff. However, freeze-dried food is about $8 a portion versus this, which is about $1.50. And as long as I remember to use these before they get to their expiration date, totally good, totally viable. I can heat them up on the equipment that I have in my kit and fill my tummy, which is kind of what it's about. So don't look down on canned rations. Yeah, MREs are cool. Guess what? MREs are also only good for about 3 to 5 years. So anything you can bring that will help you survive possibly, or even if you're a little bit peckish and you didn't bring enough food to the campfire, things like this, very good to have. Very good to have. I pretty much live on beans when I'm out in the woods. So, umbrella. Seems dumb, right? I'm a Seattleite. Rain is not something I am new to. Something I was born by, molded by it. I did not know sun until I was already a man. Yeah, sounds good. However, I can also use this as a lean-to shelter. I can also use this during a hailstorm, stuff like that, keep some of my equipment dry. So very valuable to have this. Chamois towel. Why do I have a chamois towel? Well, normal towels have way less absorbency and a lot denser and much harder to pack. These bad boys can hold a lot of water, a lot of liquid. You can use them to clean yourself. You can use them to dry out some of your kit. Very good to have. And this guy is pretty big. This is not like a normal chamois towel. This guy is pretty sizable. A lot of uses for this thing. A lot of uses. Undies. Need I say why we might need extra pairs of underwear? You're going to need a change of clothes when you're in the woods. Let's see. More socks. Going back to the whole we need socks thing. Oh yeah, this one's really important. Salt. Salt. You never know what you're going to be cooking with. Having a little bit of salt and pepper, and I think I have the pepper in here somewhere, invaluable. Let me tell you. Have some salt on you. You can also use it to preserve some meats and stuff like that. So a lot of uses for this actually. Waterproof container. You can store tinder, kindling, anything like that, lighters, matches, things like that. Really good to have. This one, I don't know the brand or anything like that, has rubber grommets on it. I don't know how deep it will survive water. However, good to have. power outlet for USB. More socks, more socks, more underwear. Extra magazines for whatever rifle you're carrying. This happens to be a Men 2 mag. Soap. It's just basic bar soap. This is Dove White, if that matters to you guys. Just soap. Keep yourself clean. Shirt. This shirt is just a normal black shirt, having an extra change of layers, going back to you don't know what the hell is going to happen when you're out in the woods. I've been out multiple times where I wish that I would have had extra layers. So now, with that knowledge, I always pack more. So this is a smaller chamois. It's just like a normal size chamois. It's a little bit smaller than the one that I had. Same reasons, cleaning yourself, cleaning pots and pans, things like that. Very good to have. Really important one coming up here. It's just a bag I have of basic toiletries. Toilet paper, fire starter, cleaning a wound, taking a poop, things like that. Very important. I can't tell you how many people I end up in the woods with that ask me if I have toilet paper, that claim to be seasoned or experienced outdoorsmen or outdoorswomen or outdoors attacked helicopters. Whatever it is. Toilet paper. Don't forget it. Seriously, I carry one of these in my kit and I carry one of these in my go bag. Don't forget it. You will regret it. Kellum whiskey. Cocoa butter petroleum jelly. Petroleum jelly, good to lotion. You can actually use this to start fires if you have the right makeup of your petroleum jelly. A lot of good uses for that. Deodorant, don't stink. Sunscreen. I am pale as the night is long. So anything I can do to stop myself getting a sunburn when I'm out in the woods, I'm going to use. Could I have a bigger one? Probably. Do I have space for it? Not really, man. Not really. Toothbrush. You don't want your teeth falling out of your head when you're out in the woods. This is really important. Bring a toothbrush. I have a couple things of toothpaste in here. These are just Colgates, nothing crazy. These are travel size Colgates. Compass, nothing expensive. This is not a crazy brand. You could find this at your local outdoor shop. It holds north pretty well. I usually carry a couple kits, depending on where I'm going. I'll usually have a map of where I'm heading, and this helps when you run out of cell service. So, good to have compass. If nothing else, it can point you towards the water in the Pacific Northwest, which you know eventually you will reach. So, compass. Lighter. Do I need to explain why lighters are good? Flint strikers are cool. Lighters are way better. Inhaler. I don't have asthma currently. I used to. It's nice to have those not only for you, but for somebody else you might run into when you're out there. Extra pair of thick denim pants. Going back to my theory about layering up. In the Pacific Northwest, we don't know what the weather is going to look like. You have to dress down, dress up, depending on what's happening. Another pair of shorts right here. So that's good to have. Denim shorts. Another pair of underwear. Basic first aid kit. This came as a Curad kit. I've added to it and taken away from it as I've needed. This is just basic stuff. This is nothing crazy. I have some tampons in here for gunshot wounds and things like that. I have some Neosporin. I have some hydrogen peroxide, rubbing alcohol, things like that. I won't go into a huge explanation on first aid. You should look those videos up. There's a lot of people who know way more about that than I do, so I would say go to them for that information. But I have my basic first aid kit here. It's been broken and busted a whole bunch of times, so that's why there's duct tape holding it together. But I rolled a vehicle that I own about a year back, I guess it would have been, and that helped me patch myself up. So I would say this is definitely a for sure add to your kit, first aid kit, and figure out what sort of injuries you're preparing yourself to sustain, because you never know. So always have a first aid kit because you don't know what's going to go down. This is a adhesive, an epoxy adhesive. A lot of uses for this. You can use it for automotive repair. You can use it to patch your kit. So good stuff to have. Nice thick jacket. Yes. I always bring jackets to the woods, but I'm not always the one who is the person prepared, or is the only person prepared, or not prepared. So you never know. Having an extra jacket. This one's kind of nice because it breathes pretty well. The brand on this one is American Rag. Oh, yeah, American Rag. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. It works in the summer. It works in the winter. Very breathable. Like it a lot. Always bring a couple jackets with me. Going back to the fire starter, I had an old one that I used quite a bit. I actually ended up breaking the ferro rod on the old one, so this is going to get used sometime next summer. Until then, I'm going to keep using my lighters because they work. It's a good thing to have because lighters run out. These things will get infinitely more use than a lighter will. So having a fire starter, this is a magnesium fire starter, so you have your ferro rod, you can break off magnesium and hit that. If you guys want, I can go over a video on how to start fires with these. If not, well, then we'll just go ahead and discard it. Let's see what else we got. We're getting to the end of the main pack. More socks. Again, I know it seems like a lot of socks. It's important. It matters. Don't forget socks. Seriously, don't forget socks. Mess kit. I got this at an Army surplus store for about $5. It's nothing crazy. It has 2 compartments there. Has something I can use as a pot here for heating up, some of my food rations, things like that. Boiling water. Also, a fork, a spoon, and a knife in here. Very, very valuable. Let me tell you. Don't try to cook your canned food in the can, by the way. That is something that I had to learn myself. Don't try to do that. Not a good idea. Tastes like crap. You end up getting metal in your stuff. Don't do it. Let's see what else we got. Alright, that's the end of the main compartment. Let's see. Yep. That's it. Oh, pen. Never know when you're going to want to write something down. Always good to have a pen. Flashlight. This is a Streamlight ProTac 2LX. I have mounted this on my rifles, on my shotguns, on a lot of stuff. I carry it in my pocket sometimes. Very good light. Not as expensive as some other lights, but it is rechargeable. You can actually recharge the battery on it, so it's earned its place in my kit. Pretty good light. From my experiences, only about 2 hours of life out of these, so that is something to consider. If you want to use one of those lights that has disposable batteries, that's something that you're going to want to consider and add to your system. For me, having the lack of complexity of a rechargeable flashlight was something that I really wanted, so that's why I run this. Another hand chamois. This is more like for a microfiber, so this is good for a lot of different things that you wouldn't want to use a chamois for. Good for automotive stuff like that. Things like your face, your special areas, whatever. Good stuff to have. A face covering. So during the pandemic, something that a lot of us did was start wearing masks. However, one thing that I learned, especially during the pandemic, was that this is actually a really good way to stop wind from chilling your ears and your face. So these face coverings are actually really good for not just, not contracting viruses, however, also trying to keep the warmth in your face. Not as good as a scarf probably, but also thing's freaking thin. So it's really nice to have that. Extra glove in case I need grip. This is my left-handed glove. I probably have the right-handed glove in there somewhere, but this is painkillers. So in here I have a couple basic painkillers for things like muscle relaxers, stuff like that. These are things that I was prescribed that I had extra of. So these are things that I keep because I never know when I'm going to need them. It's good to have those. I rolled my vehicle, as I mentioned before, so I have some injuries from that I still sometimes have issues with pain with. So having some basic painkillers and stuff like that. I think I have some ibuprofen and aspirin in that container as well, so it's not all just one thing. Water. This is not the best solution, however, it's the one that I have. This is a Life Straw. These things apparently are good for about 3 to 5 years. I don't know. I've never drank water only from one of these for 3 to 5 years. I know the purification level. I know that they are very durable. So basically the way this would work would be I would open the bottom of that, open the top of this guy, and then I could drink from most sources of water and not worry about contracting some sort of disease or plague that would be in the water. Really good way to purify water, not portable, so you would have to drink from any water source you found, which is where camel packs and things like that and water pumps would be more beneficial. However, this is what I run in the Pacific Northwest. It's really not hard to find a source of water. If you were in somewhere like maybe Nevada or Arizona or something like that where water is a little bit more scarce, there might be other considerations in your system. For me, this works. I've never had to use it. I always carry water with me when I go outdoors, but if I was in an emergency situation, I would feel very comfortable using one of these Life Straws. They're very cheap. They work for a long time. Really good investment. I own 3 of these. I have one of these here. I have one of them in my car, and I have one of them somewhere else. So, more basic utensils: spoon, fork. These muscle relaxers. Power cords for my various things. So in case I need to charge something on the fly, I have those. I also have that outlet, so if I find power somewhere and I don't necessarily have access to it myself, I can plug into somebody else's stuff. Crescent wrench, good to have. Another pen. Gun oil. More salt. Black pepper. Season your food, guys. Please just season your food. Do the world a favor. Season your food. Basic tailor's kit. So I have scissors. I have nail trimmers, tweezers, stuff like that. And I have some thread and twine in there as well, so I can pretty much sew up most things that I need. Taco Bell hot sauce. Do I need to explain why this is important? This is probably the most important part of your kit. Let's be honest. Another lighter. And then getting to the front here. WD-40. More soap. Shotgun shell. Now with these, you can use these for a lot of different things. I could start a fire with this. I can make an improvised spear if I needed to, where you actually could duct tape the end of this thing to a sharp stick and stuff like that. You could do that. Realistically, this just ended up in my pack out of chance because I was doing 12 gauge drills the other day. However, having a 12 gauge shell is a good thing. You can actually do a lot of things with this if you're creative enough. So it's good to have. Soap. Let's see what else I got. More twine. Improvised spoon. Another flint striker. I do not like being in the woods without a way to set a fire. So anything I can do to help myself set a fire, I'm gonna do. It gets cold out here in the Pacific Northwest, so. Measuring tape, good to have. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. There's other stuff that I bring with me. There's firearms, there's self-defense tools like that. There's food and water rations that extend beyond what I have here. However, this is pretty much the stuff that I grab and go. So if you have any comments, let me know. Hopefully this video, if nothing else, was a little bit informative or helped you guys gain some perspective on what I bring out to the woods every time I go camping in the Pacific Northwest. I'll have some videos coming up here shortly, so look forward to those. Go ahead and do me a favor and subscribe. Thanks for watching Dirtboard Tactics.